welcome to Lily's News. You guys are watching Insane Games TV on YouTube here. My name is Lily, and it is Friday at 5:02. 5:02. So it's time for me to share some news with you, and I'm bringing a friend along because Steve here has been following our first come on in, slide on in. Steve here has been following our first topic's main character for a long time, a lot longer than I have, because I just learned about him thanks to some ordinary gamers about a month.
My boy Muda.
Yeah, about a month ago. So we're going to talk about, what was his name? The Completionist, and his quite possible scam and or conspiracy and or actually giving money to places that need money. And then I'm going to talk to you guys about the Gabby Petito update. So Gabby Petito's case has this major, very interesting, kind of intriguing, very complicated update that kind of has been happening for the past couple of days. So I'm going to go through some of that with you guys. We have another Panera death that we need to cover. We have George Santos, who is just crushing it. So before we get to all of that, let's talk about the Completionist and the Completionist scam. So his name is Gerard Khalil?
Yep, Gerard Khalil.
Okay.
He's been on YouTube for quite a while as the Completionist. He's an honorary member of the Normal Blues community, which back in the day consisted of like Peanut Butter Gamer, JonTron, Pro Jared, himself, a couple others. I think Game Grumps were technically part of it, but you could count the controversies just as well as you can count the people in the group.
Hey Ronnie, how are you?
Hello.
So over the past decade, there has been a fundraiser put in place for a specific charity by the Completionist or Gerard. His mother, when he was younger, passed away from a frontotemporal...
It was, frontotemporal dementia.
Yeah. Right. So like a really intensive form of Alzheimer's. So when he got big on the internet, he wanted to do some good for the world and other people who are suffering, and potentially help make this not a thing that people suffer from anymore, which is a fantastic effort. Round of applause for that thought, and using your platform for good is always, beautiful. And so he started raising funds with Indieland. He created Indieland to raise the funds, right?
Yep, he created that, and jointly with his family created the Open Hand Foundation.
Right. And so Indieland was like the platform where they were streaming and bringing in funds that went, well, everyone thought was going to this foundation, but it actually happened to be that all of the money just kind of sat in an account for the last 10 years.
And they'd also bring on a bunch of these indie developers to test their games. I'm actually looking up right now which games were on there. I know there were a couple of like bigger indie games. Just don't know off the top of my head, and I apologize. I should have looked this up beforehand. There he is. There's donates. That's a game. That's a lot of different indie games. None that I am familiar with, at least on the website itself.
Right, and I'll pull up the website for everyone to see. So this here is the Indieland website. And you scroll right on down, and there is Mr. Gerard, the Completionist, and like it says, the Open Hand Foundation, a 501c3 charitable organization honoring the memory of his mother and her battle with frontotemporal dementia, and the proceeds from all of the events that have occurred from Indieland.
And this is a very big thing. I clicked on Steam. There's like a whole Steam page official about it that showcases different indie games that you can buy, that are coming soon, that are on sale.
Right, and so you can see, like, just right on the website, Indieland has evolved over the years. It was started as a small gathering of indie games into various themed lands, has blossomed into a revolving door of indie developers, publishers, celebrities, and influencers coming together from across the globe to raise funds in the fight against dementia, which it is all fantastic. And then some ordinary gamers, Mudahar,
Yep. And Carl, I believe Carl Jobst
yes,
was the other person.
I don't know how exactly they like caught a hold of it, but they started looking into Indieland, the Completionist, and where the money was going and how it was being spent. And you're able to, if you do a little digging on Indieland website, you can find their 501c3 number, which you can just very easily see. It's all public information, like what money has gone in, what money has gone out, what money has been spent, and what money has been donated. And it was very clear that no money was donated.
Yeah.
No money left except for like the basis, like small amounts of money for like kind of upkeep of like the website and everything.
Until actually within this last week.
Right.
And
which is so funny. Okay, so I don't understand. So some ordinary gamers got together and they called Gerard, the completionist. They have a recorded phone call. He knew it was recorded. And like this is where the issue sort of turned into a bigger issue. Yeah. Because they had the conversation of what are you doing with the money since you haven't donated any of it? And then he kind of comes back with trying to create like some sort of argument like, well, I just didn't know, and we were waiting for this, and a little bit of money doesn't do any good, so we wait until we have more money, which that's not right.
Yeah.
That's not fair. When you donate money to something, you have an expectation that money is going to transfer within like the fiduciary year or whatever it is.
Unless like already disclosed. I've seen a lot of arguments on the internet that are like, yeah, it was sat there, it didn't move, but it's like, and they weren't told that it was not moving. And
right.
Gerard even said on the 2023 edition of Indieland, like, hey, we are donating this directly to, I apologize, I forget what the UCSF, Alzheimer's Association, and Association for Frontotemporal Dementia, yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't read my own.
It's a lot of words. It's a lot of words. If you say them a lot, it just gets all jumbled up. But yeah, so you have that expectation that the money that you're giving to this massive creator who's been around for what feels like forever is going to go to where they say the money is going to go, and it's not just going to sit in some random bank account, and it's not even accruing interest. Like the money was in one of the worst, just like plain accounts. There wasn't accruing any interest, so there was the issue of, let's say there was $50,000 in it, 10 years ago, that $50,000 is not worth $50,000 today. Yeah. The difference over time is just, it's astronomical, especially since we went through a freaking pandemic and we're in, but we're not in a recession. It's all very sticky. Yeah. And my favorite part of the conversation was when they, when Gerard literally asked them, well, where should I donate the money?
What do you want me to do with this?
What do you want me to do with the money then?
Because if I donate it now, it's just going to look really bad on my part. But it's already looking really bad on your part anyway.
That's so crazy to me. For someone to have the gall, the actual audacity to sit down with two people who are calling him out for not donating money to the charity that he said he was going to donate money to, and then say, well, what do you want me to do? Yeah. No.
You guys are going to tell what story you're going to tell, and that's going to be that. And
Yep. He wanted to play the victim so bad, and I saw a lot of like movement on like Twitter and stuff where it was like, okay, that's great, but you finally donating the money after a decade doesn't earn you a round of applause. Like, you didn't do a good thing by doing what you said you were going to do a decade ago.
Yeah. And even then, like, you had the other members of the Normal Boost community just kind of like being like he would never do that and all that, which is fair. However, one of them clearly stated, it was pro Jared, was like, oh, I didn't watch the video, but this is all blatantly wrong. It's like,
right.
no.
It was giving off very much. I don't know if you guys saw the oh my gosh, what is his name? What is the guy who like lost his eye from David Dobrik? What is his name? Jeff. So Jeff, there was the article, like, okay, so there was this article that came out of David Dobrik and like his friends and them being like sort of SAers, and Jeff Wittick, who has been dealing with eye trauma from David Dobrik flying him around on like some construction machinery in a lake, and he was flinging this guy so fast he like lost traction and he stopped, and it was an excavator, that's what it is, and he swung right back into the excavator, and like he was like upside down and he smashed his eye, and he like is blind in the eye, and he's had surgery after surgery after surgery.
My God.
Yes, it's absolutely traumatic. And
Where's the lawsuit for that?
oh, it's happening.
Good.
It's
That's
happening.
awful.
Yeah, once that actually happens, we'll definitely talk about it. But so he didn't read the article that came out with all of this like evidence and proof of David Dobrik and his friend. God, what is his name? I can't even remember their names. That's how useless of human flesh they are. And just like basically essaying girls. And so Jeff FM went on H3 Podcast and was like, I don't know, I didn't read it, because he was blamed for some things as well, like buying liquor and all that stuff for underage girls. And he's like, you know, I didn't read the article. What do you mean you didn't read the article? Like you're having an interview based on the article calling you out for like buying underage human beings liquor and like being on site when like an actual essay is occurring. Like you were there when this person wasn't donating the money. You can't sit there and say, I mean, I'm not paying attention to it. I didn't read anything. I didn't listen to anything. I didn't hear any of the evidence. I'm just going to back up my friend. Like, that doesn't make you look better.
Nope. Especially when you had your own controversy, like 8 years ago. Though it was bad on both ends, but a lot of, like, the allegations did turn out to be false.
But still, Dirty Dom, that was his name. Wouldn't expect someone with that nickname to do anything shady.
Not at all.
Yeah, so I thought it was crazy. And then we find out yesterday, some ordinary gamer posted, gamers, sorry, I know it's plural.
There used to be two of them. Oh, like 10 plus years ago, there were two of them.
It's plural, like the channel is plural, but it doesn't feel right to say that. But anywho, just dropped a video yesterday, I think. Yeah. Showing that the money has been moved. It hit the charity. But what is funny, because like you did your job. You did what you were supposed to do. You gave the money to where it needed to go. Yeah. Well done. You have lost all your trust in, I'm going to say, 70 to 80% of your followers and or just humans that knew of you. You are no longer trustworthy. No action that you want to take to help supply or fund or, you know, donate to any charity is going to be successful. Yeah. Because you lost it all. You tried, but you failed by just not doing anything with the money. So Steve, you know more about the other bit of the issue with the money.
Yes, there's a lot. The Open Hand Foundation was started by originally started by Gerard's father and him, because there was another organization, I apologize, I forgot what the name of the organization was, that had the same kind of thing, where it just donations for the UCSF and all that. Right. And they had golf tournaments for years upon years with big sponsors, big sponsorship money, big sponsors including Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Monster. I guess that's Coca-Cola, Monster, same thing. And no one knows where any of that money is.
Right.
And it's like send checks to Open Hand Foundation. No one knows. No one has access to the account outside of them. no one knows where that money is going. It's
It's a lot of money that, on top of the whole, it's been 10 years since you donated this money to charity. Where is this other chunk of cash, and why is that not visible? And I thought that was really interesting because so when the whole thing sort of broke and started gaining some traction, it was very much, well, what is the point? Like, what do you gain out of not donating the money that was sent to you to charity? What do you gain from putting it in one of the lamest style bank accounts possible, where you're not accruing any interest, nothing's happening to the money, it's just sitting there? What do you gain out of then asking humans, well, what do you want me to do with the money? Well, we want you to do what you said you were going to do with the money. What do you gain from playing dumb, from playing the victim, by not donating money? And then learning that there's a sort of back end to the situation. There's another set of checks, there's another set of cash, there's another set of sort of unknown that makes me question everything. That I think they got found out, they had to act fast, and I think it'll be very clear in, I don't know, maybe a month to 6 months, where this other stack of cash went and why, and who it went to, who was actually in charge of it. It's all just very strange, and it's extremely manipulative of your following, of your viewers, of the way you make money, because you weren't profiting or benefiting off of the initial, like, donate to charity cash. It wasn't going anywhere. You weren't getting anything from it. So was that just like a smoke screen to another sort of influx of money coming in, that people, he would realize that eventually someone's going to find this out, but not really worry about all the rest of it? I mean, the IRS has to worry about it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, like, look into some of the events, and you can still donate to the website. Don't do it. First of all, don't do it. But you can still do it in 25, 50, 100, 250, 500, 1,000, 5,000, and or other amounts.
Yeah, the website is still active, and it's still accepting donations, and their socials, I believe, are still active.
They have not done a golf tournament, it looks like, since 2020. Oh, never mind. There was one in 2023. They never updated the website. Sponsorships. Here we go. This is...
The latest post is from 4 weeks ago on their Instagram, which is signing up for a showcase. So essentially still active, not like as active. I definitely thought that dog was just loose.
I did too. But looking at, like, the sponsorships and whatever, $10,000 for company names featured throughout the tournament, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is corporate logo prominently displayed. So, like, those companies are paying at least $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming, yeah, that has 2 players, and then the corporate logo, and then all the way up to the $10,000 of the partnerships.
Yeah, and sure, some of the money goes into planning and organizing and the situations, but where is the rest of the money?
Yep.
So that's the question. That's the question.
From a fan standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
I've grown up watching Super Beard Bros, which is their kind of gaming offshoot, where it's him, Alex, I forgot what his last name was. I watched him and his wife Kelly. They did, like, you can't see my hand. I'm, like, trying to I'll do this. I kind of Pokemon thing. I was really huge into Pokemon when I was a lot younger, and it's kind of like that offshoot. And it's like, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
All the people I watched suck.
It really hurts when you, like, there was, when Colleen Ballinger had her whole downfall, her
toxic gossip train.
Yes, her whole toxic gossip train. God, icon. There was a wave of humans that are like, I wasted so much time and energy, not just watching someone, but caring about someone who is just like garbage, like just a trash human. And I don't know. I think that I mean, you're like so much younger than me. I think there's gonna be you're gonna feel that a lot. I didn't have the opportunity or ability to grow up with people, like I could just choose to watch.
Yeah.
If I wanted to choose to watch something, it was I have to be home and turn the television on at that time that their show
What
is
is this
on.
television you're speaking
Oh
of?
my God, cable? Do you know cable? So I think you're gonna feel that a lot, which is sad. But I think it's the realization that majority of people just kind of suck
Yep.
a lot, and there's always, and I feel like the ones who are try to be portray themselves, like try to be the best and the nicest and the sweetest and the calmest and the silliest, and are the ones who are quite possibly the worst. I don't know.
He's done a lot in like the community, which there was earlier this year he had the undertaking of buying every single 3DS and Wii U game that had come out to preserve it, donating the systems to the Video Game Foundation, just
Right.
to preserve it, even though all of those games are actually preserved already through piracy. Which, yeah.
I just,
there was one more.
it sucks. I think it's really interesting that for the last 10 years he was able to sleep fine every night and actually do some, and like not actually do anything with the money that he said he was going to do with the money. It doesn't make any sense. I still have questions like why, like what did you get out of it, like what did you gain, because you're just getting backlash and you're just getting like the real response from people, which I think is really nice. You're seeing like humans respond to this whole situation in a really real way. They're not like, I didn't see too many people going to extreme like on Twitter or like on YouTube. They're just all kind of sharing the same sentiment, like why that's dumb and you just kind of suck now.
Do you remember G4?
G4.
Yes.
I do remember G4.
They shut down. They were a thing, and then they shut down, and then they redid the thing in 2022, and then shut down like within a couple months because nobody cared. One of the biggest proponents of the G4 launch, Scott the Woz, great YouTuber. I would probably cry if anything bad came out about him. The Completionist was one of the big proponents of that too. It was one of the biggest shows. Let me see.
Interesting. He would be involved in something like that. I mean, he was really big. He had a lot of, his hands in a lot of different cookie jars.
Yep, there it is. Gerard Dragon Rider / The Completionist Khalil, co-host of X Play.
Interesting.
But
Ay, ay, ay.
sadness. Absolutely. Oh, Just the Minx was on here too. Jeez.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, thank you, Steve, for filling us in on the drama of the Completionist.
Thank you for having me. Very sad. I want to cry.
I know.
It's okay.
It sucks when your faves do something awful. Like if Rhett and Link of Good Mythical Morning ever did anything terrible, I don't know what I would do. But definitely check up on me.
Watch Scott the Woz. That's all I got out of this.
All right, so let's talk about some Gabby Petito updates. So Gabby Petito was the young woman in 2021 who her life was taken by her fiance at the time, Brian Laundrie, and there was an extreme event that happened on the internet, and it was worldwide. Everyone was looking for Gabby Petito. So Gabby Petito's life was taken, and And Steve Ronnie says thank you. And so Gabby Petito's life was taken by her fiance, Brian, who then was also found, who ended his own life with a self-inflicted gun wound about a week or two, I think it was about 2 weeks later. So there was essentially a criminal case against Brian using credit cards that didn't belong to him and belonged to Gabby. But then, since Brian was deceased, there was no further action taken on that because you can't prosecute a dead man. There was a civil suit between both estates, so Brian's family and Gabby's family, and that settled, I believe it was like $25,000 around there. And now there's a civil suit where Gabby's family is suing Brian Laundrie's family for intentional infliction of emotional distress. Why? Well, because they want to know why Brian's family blocked Gabby's phone number, blocked her on Facebook, why they got Brian, before he took his own life, a criminal defense attorney, why they were able to contact the correct county coroner where Gabby was found and being dealt with post-mortem very quickly without anyone else knowing that information. They want the answers to the questions as to why Brian Laundrie's family did not tell anybody, the police, Gabby's family, that they knew, potentially, allegedly, that Brian ended Gabby's life and where Gabby was, and all of that shenanigans. It's absolutely horrifying. But this is where morality and legality butt heads, because the two rarely align. And when they don't align is usually when we as humans who don't deal with like law things just in general wish that they really did align. Because when it comes down to it, the Laundrie family did not legally have to say anything if they did allegedly know where and when and how and why Brian Laundrie ended Gabby Petito's life. So this is a civil suit that is happening, and it is wild. Like this is very, very strange. So according to the allegations in the court filing, the Laundrie family knew small bits of information about Gabby's location after Brian came home, because when Brian came home, he was driving the van, which belonged to Gabby. But Gabby did not also come home. Gabby was gone. Brian's family, knowing Brian needed a defense attorney, and not just a defense attorney, criminal defense attorney, because for some reason that information was allegedly shared from Brian to the family. It's all so crazy. And at this point in time, this is before Gabby was officially missing. So Brian was not a wanted person because no one was missing, therefore there was no warrant out for the arrest of Brian. So there's no harboring a fugitive if Brian is not a fugitive. If there's no warrant, he's not a fugitive. So he's just a family member, a friend, a cousin, a brother, a son, sharing information, quite possibly. Oh my God. There was a letter that Brian's mom wrote to Brian. It's like burn after reading. It was like the first line of the letter was like burn after reading. And it basically was like, I'm your mother. I'll always love you. I'll help you through anything, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing specific. There was no specific details that could turn what she wrote into like really detailed information about what Brian did, which is very interesting. So it was thought out. It was definitely for sure meant to be burnt. It was not burnt. And then Brian wrote a letter before he took his own life which I thought was very, very interesting. So I kind of want to show you guys this. Let me just pull this up real quick. I wanted to show you this because this is really like what happened. This is one of the questions that I'm sure the family wanted an answer to, and I'm honestly probably sure, in my opinion, that they are more than comfortable making it known his words that he wrote before he took his own life. So this was after Gabby passed away. So let's see. So you can see here, these are photos of the notebook that was in Brian's bag, which did get wet. I believe it was like their camping bag that they were using for camping. It was a semi-waterproof bag, I believe, but it was submerged underwater for quite a long time. There's a transcript of it. It's really hard to read, as you can tell. It's this first page is very, let's just talk about what it looks like real fast, because this is actually really interesting to me. This first page that he wrote, is clearly titled like to Gabby, is very frantic. The lines don't matter. He's writing in multiple different directions, and it feels like it's going very fast. There's not a lot of grace when it comes to this. So his hands were working as fast as possible, I believe, while writing this. And then these next pages have a different tone, as in they're addressed to someone else, if it's just his family, or if it's to quite possibly the public. There are bits in here, I have read through a little bit of it. There are bits in here directly targeted to his parents in very interesting ways. I don't know his like standard protocol of writing and crossing things off, but this, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, this right here seems very manic. This is very, very stressed that the word under here, if it's misspelled or the wrong word he wanted to use, it's more than just a cross off. Ronnie says, that is an interesting note about the lines on the first page. I didn't notice that the first time I saw these. Yes, right. I don't think we had, I know that these have been out. This has been out for a while, but I didn't really want to go through it because in my brain, when I think like, oh, I'm going to read a murderer's letter, it's like sort of handing them the grace to be a murderer, like giving them the time of day. But I think it will help answer some questions on not just his mindset taking his own life, but quite possibly his mindset while taking Gabby's life. But at the same time, building up like some sort of like baseline of like, even in someone's writing, you can feel truth and lies. So I feel like you can kind of get a baseline of when he's trying to lie a little too hard, maybe. I'll never know. I never met the man and he's gone. So this is all just my assumptions from, I have no proper training in this, but I've read a lot, and I am really good at understanding people's body language. But can I translate some of this language into vibes and feels? I don't know. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a go. Okay, so thank you to, what is this? Is News Channel 8. I don't think this is WFLA. It might be. Oh yeah, WFLA. We love JB. JB was on top of this. JB, this man, I believe I don't know. I don't want to say. I don't really know his face too well. JB was on top of the Gabby Petito case 24/7 while it was going on. So major props to JB. Burn after reading letter. Maybe we'll go through it. Maybe not. Okay, so this is the transcription of the handwritten note, just for easily reading it better. Gabby, I wish I was right at your side. I wish I could be talking to you right now. I'd be going through every memory we made, getting even more excited for the future, but we lost our future. I can't live without you. I've lost every day we could have spent together, every holiday. Okay. I'll never get to play with unknown again. Never go hiking with TJ. I loved you. Past tense. Loved. I loved you more than anything. I can't bear to look at our photos to recall great times because it is why I cannot go on. When I close my eyes, I will think of laughing on the roof of the van, falling asleep to the sight of blank at the Crystal Geyser. I will always love you. Will you always love her, or did you end the love because you loved her? I don't know. This is very interesting. Gabby, I wish I was right by your side is a strong start, because by her side is in a coroner's office. I wish I could be talking to you right now. Well, you could have if you didn't kill her. Like, that's you done it. I wish I could be talking to you right now. You ended her life because allegedly you believed it to be necessary. We'll get to why. It's in the letter, right? But anywho, I loved you more than anything is so crazy to me. And I'm not saying like, oh, he's crazy. I'm saying that's like a wild statement. I loved you more than anything. You're saying to the spirit of the person that you just mercifully, I guess in your opinion, killed. What? But you didn't. You didn't do enough. You didn't do the bare minimum. Anywho, if you were reading Gabs's journal, so this is the next page. I'll show you page 2. 2. Okay, so we just read the first page on this. Whoa, chill out, computer. Oh, no. Okay, so we just read we just read the very first page. This is the second page if you were reading Gab's journal, so let's go back to that. If you were reading Gabs's journal, looking at photos from our life together, flipping through old cards, you wouldn't want to live a day without her. Knowing that every day you'll wake up without her, you wouldn't want to wake up. If you loved her, why take her life? Exactly, Crystalline. Exactly. We'll get to his reasoning in this letter, in this notebook, we'll say. Knowing that every day you'll wake up without her, you wouldn't want to wake up. I'm sorry my computer keeps like, I don't know what it's doing. I'm sorry to everyone this will affect. Gabby was the love of my life, but I know adored by many. I'm so very sorry to her family because I love them. Okay, I'd consider her young siblings my best friends. I am sorry to my family. This is a shock to them, as well as a terrible grief. So this is very strange. This is very stifled to me. This whole page feels so forced. It's very, very interesting. I'm so sorry to her family because I love them. I'd consider her younger siblings my best of friends. I don't know about you, but I rarely hear younger folk in their 20s saying my best of friends. Oh, they're my best of friends. Very interesting to me. It doesn't feel like a natural tone that someone their age would use. It feels very forced. I honestly don't believe that if he was, and this is just my opinion, this is all just my opinion, I don't believe that he would have considered her younger siblings to be best of friends with him. I don't believe it. You don't beat your fiance but be best of friends with their siblings. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I'm sorry to my family. That I believe. This is a shock to them as well as a terrible grief. Shocking for sure. A terrible grief. It will be a terrible grief for them when you take your own life. So that I believe. That is a phrase as in a sentence that I wholeheartedly am like, check, yep, tick, got it. I believe that. Oh, please, he wasn't sorry. Exactly. Oh no, what is my computer doing? My computer's having a moment today. I'm so sorry. Flipping through old cards, you wouldn't want to live a day without her. If you don't want to live a day without her, don't kill her. Pretty simple math there, homie. All right, on to the next page of the notebook. They loved as much, if not more than me. Weird, right? Weird. Let's scroll down to the actual page. What it looks like. Very interesting, right? This feels so strange. Okay. They loved as much, if not more than me. A new daughter to my mother, an aunt to my nephews. Okay, please do not make this harder for them. This occurred as an unexpected tragedy. Nope. Nope. This was murder. Unexpected, sure, from her point. Quite possibly not as unexpected from yours. Tragedy, absolutely. Insane tragedy. Massive tragedy. Rushing back to our car, trying to cross the streams of somewhere before it got too dark to see, too cold. I hear a splash and a scream. So now we're getting into the story of how it all went down from his current mind where he is ready and prepared to end himself. So this is very interesting about that because you know, you're not really, we'll talk about it maybe later. I don't want to say the words YouTube really hates. Okay. Rushing back to our car, trying to cross the streams of blank before it got too dark to see, too cold. I hear a splash and a scream. I could barely see. I couldn't find her for a moment, shouted her name. I found her breathing heavily, gasping something unknown. She was freezing cold. Something the blazing hot national parks in Utah. Crystalline says, I think his parents knew what he did to her. Oh, I believe, in my opinion, that yes, I do believe that they did. I am not their lawyer. But yes, allegedly, I do believe that they did. Because at the time, he was safe before Gabby was a missing person, and that there was a good chunk of time there, about 12 days. There was safety to say, I did this happened, this is a thing, I need an attorney. I'm coming home, my fiance is not, I need a criminal defense attorney. Yes, of course, I believe, in my opinion, yes. So that was very interesting. So something happened in a stream where he heard a splash and a cry. Now she's cold, soaking wet, breathing heavily. The temperature had dropped to freezing and she was soaking wet. I carried her as far as I could from the stream toward the car, stumbling, exhausted, in shock when my blank and knew I couldn't safely carry her. I started a fire and spooned her as close to the heat. She was so thin, had already been freezing too long. I couldn't at the time realize that I should have started a fire, but I wanted her out of the cold back to the car. From where I started the fire, I had no idea how far the car might be, only knew it was across the creek. This is so crazy to me because it doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. I think he's telling the story from like his first person and then like a second person perspective, like as someone looking at the situation as well, because this doesn't really make too much sense. You're crossing a stream or a creek and she's already been freezing for too long. I mean, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but I don't think hypothermia sets in that quickly from a stream, but I don't know. I do believe that there was a head wound. How she got it, the coroner said blunt force trauma, so whatever that entails. And from his perspective, it was probably a slip and fall, and now she's really cold. When I pulled Gabby out of the water, she couldn't tell me what hurt. She had a small bump on her forehead that eventually got larger, so she had an injury on her head. Her feet hurt, her wrist hurt, but she was freezing, shaking violently while carrying her. She continually made sounds of pain. Laying next to her, she said little, lapsing between violent shakes, gasping in pain, begging for an end to her pain. She would fall asleep and I would shake her awake, fearing she wouldn't close her eyes if she had a concussion. Now, here's the thing. I don't believe that. So here's the problem. I don't believe that at all. I do believe that she had multiple injuries to her body. I do believe that everything probably hurt. This writing is so unhinged, Ronnie, so unhinged. Laying next to her, she said little. In my opinion, most people don't want to talk to their abusers while they're freezing cold in the middle of a park next to some half-assed fire. Crystalline was a cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. He don't make no sense. Yes, it doesn't make any sense. Gasping in pain, begging for an end to her pain. This is, in my opinion, he is justifying everything that he is about to do, and he's kind of going back in time and sort of rewriting and redescribing in his brain, like remaking the memory of what's happening right now, and turning it into something that he can justifiably say was necessary. Because wild. That is absolutely crazy to me. How do you not know where your van is? Like, that's priority one. As a well-known camper, and they've been van lifing it for a while. Priority one, know where your van is. Okay, next one. She would wake in pain, start her whole painful cycle again. Something furious that I was the one waking her. Yeah, I think that sentence says the absolute most. She would wake in pain, start her whole painful cycle again, furious that I was the one waking her. Faux show. If I was in a tumultuous relationship with someone, and I am now in a lot of physical pain because allegedly of what they have done and been capable of doing to me, yep, I too would be pissed off if you kept shaking me awake and I'm hurting and like for some reason you're still here, like, yeah, I'd be pissed off too, homie. Be pissed off too. She wouldn't let me try to cross the creek. Thought like me that the fire would go out in her sleep and she'd freeze. I don't know the extent of Gabby's injuries, only that she was in extreme pain. Oh no, my computer. I ended her life. Right there. I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that it is what she wanted, but I see now all the mistakes I made. That's crazy. I panicked. I was in shock. But from the moment I decided, took away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her. I'm just gonna like literally just give it a minute to sink in. Just give that a second to sink in. In the middle of a breath, while writing this, I ended her life. I thought it was merciful, that it is what she wanted, but I see now all the mistakes I made. One sentence. That was it. A couple of commas and one period. I did it. I thought it was the right thing to do. Whoops. That's too much. Like emotionally, mentally, that is too much for me to handle. That's bonkers. I panicked. I was in shock, but from the moment I decided, took away her pain, I knew I couldn't go on without her. Instant regret, huh? Golly. Jeez. It just breaks. If that's, oh. Okay. I rushed home to spend, we'll maybe get back to that because that's the most insane thing. I rushed home to spend any time I had left with my family. I wanted to drive north and let James or TJ kill me, but I wouldn't want them to spend time in jail over my mistake, even though I'm sure they would have liked to. What? You know damn well that's not true. You know damn well that's not true. You knew that your family would do anything to protect you because the moment you asked them to do anything, they did all of the things to protect you. I am ending my life not because of a fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her. But isn't supposedly living another day without the one you love so much or loved punishment? Like, so it is fear of punishment. It is the punishment that you fear. I've lost our whole future together, every moment we could have shared. I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Are you? Because I don't think you really are. Please do not make life harder for my family. I lost a son and a daughter. What about Gabby's family? That's not on your radar? What about your best friends, Gabby's siblings? The most wonderful girl in the world. Gabby, I'm sorry. I have killed myself by this creek in the hopes that animals may tear me apart, that it may make some of her family happy. That's crap. Garbage. Please pick up all of my things. Gabby hated people who litter. And that's it. That's it. That's one of the things that has created this case to continue to go on in such a hefty manner. So this is now a civil case where Gabby Petito's family is suing Brian Laundrie's family, and what's thought to be because of the discovery process. So within the discovery process, you get answers, you get emails, you get writings, you get text messages, you get phone calls and numbers and information that you didn't have readily available if there wasn't just given to you. So I do believe that this civil lawsuit, the civil case that is happening right now, to be for that as well. I was listening to Emily D. Baker talk about it, and it's very clear going through all of these documents that they want answers, and they deserve answers morally, legally. It's going to be a battle. So I'm on it. I'm on it. What did you guys think about that? Tell me, please, before we, I got a couple more things. Panera, another death from the charged lemonade from Panera. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about Another charged lemonade death. So there was a death that was attributed to the charged lemonade from Panera Bread, which was it's lemonade with caffeine in it, a lot of caffeine. A young girl, she had a pre-existing heart condition. She was known to stay away from energy drinks, and she made sure that she wasn't taking in too much caffeine. And then she got the charged lemonade from Panera, not knowing about the caffeine and the extreme levels of caffeine that are in the drink, drank it, and suffered cardiac arrest from it. And now, a man in Florida died after drinking 3 servings of the highly caffeinated drink at a Panera location in Florida. There is a wrongful death suit that's happening. Let's see. So Panera Bread says knows that its charged lemonade has more caffeine in its large size than a 12-ounce Red Bull and a 16-ounce Monster combined. The lawsuit said the company knew or should have known that the drink could injure children, pregnant, and breastfeeding women, and people sensitive to caffeine. I'm reading this from the New York Times article. After the first lawsuit, Panera Bread enhanced their existing caffeine disclosure on its website and app and in its restaurants. And in a statement this past Tuesday, Panera said it stands firmly by the safety of our products. Panera, of course, sends their sympathies. And they also say, based on their investigation, we believe his unfortunate passing was not caused by one of the company's products. We view this lawsuit, which was filed by the same law firm as a previous claim, to be equally without merit. Very, very strong legalese stance against their product, but that's a massive company. Of course, they're going to take that stance. A regular charged lemonade has 260 milligrams of caffeine, and the large has 390 milligrams. But also, it is a powder product mixed with water. So if the amount of powder that goes into the water is more, then it is more. I'm sure that there's the recipe that the restaurant employees need to take and stand by, but things happen. So it could be more, it could be less. It's not a standard controllable number. You know what I'm saying? Healthy adults, according to the Food and Drug Administration, says that healthy adults can safely consume up to 400 milligrams of caffeine per day, or about 4 or 5 cups of regular coffee. So yeah, that's, you gotta know, please be careful of the charged lemonades. So what happened was, on October 9th, he ordered the charged lemonade and had 2 refills before walking home. That's a lot of that. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. The complaint said during the walk, he suffered a cardiac event and was found unresponsive on a sidewalk where he was pronounced dead. The complaint said that he was offered. The complaint said that the Panera, the charged lemonade, was offered side by side with drinks with no caffeine or less caffeine, and was not advertised as an energy drink and did not have any warnings. The lawsuit does say that whether Mr. Brown ordered a regular or large. So we don't know if he had a large, regular or large, but I would assume it was a regular size if he had 2 refills. Because that's a lot. Even just like if it wasn't, that's a lot. Poor guy. Dennis was a part of vulnerable population that should be protected, and Panera failed to protect Dennis. Dennis's family, just like the Katz family, the first case, hopes this message gets out to prevent this from happening again to anyone else. Yeah, so that's tough. But this got me thinking about other energy drinks and other deaths that can be attributed to energy drinks. And this is according to the National Library of Medicine, the National Center for Biotechnology Information, which is a .gov. The Center for Science in the Public Interest reports 34 deaths linked to energy drink consumption. And an analysis of poison control data of 5,156 reports suggests cardiac and neurological adverse effects are amongst the most common. But it's important to note, however, that the number of adverse events due to energy drinks, it says ED, and I'm like, that stands for energy drinks, is likely underestimated in these reports since such reporting is completely voluntary. So there's no like hard data on it. But 34 is a lot, so please be careful drinking your energy drinks. What else do we have to talk about? We have to talk about I guess we'll talk about the new pink sauce happening next week, but I do want to talk about a little bit. Oh yeah, Daddy Yankee is going the Jesus route. Daddy Yankee is done making music and he's going to use the rest of his time on earth spreading Christianity. So that was a hard turn, but anywho, George Santos is killing it. We all know George Santos as the iconic. George Santos was the liar. I played volleyball. I went to this school. No, you didn't. My mom's Jewish, when he really meant he grew up Jew. Long pause ish. We all know George Santos. Well, George Santos is making his round on the internet thanks to Cameo. He was kicked out. He was no longer a government official, which is, it was wild. He was a liar. He was stealing money. He was spending government funds on OnlyFans. You know, it was bound to happen. Now, which OnlyFans, like which creators, we don't know. I'm sure the list is out there somewhere, but I want to leave you guys with something really fantastic, and I'll just play maybe even like one or two of his cameos. So if you want, I think they start at like $300. They might have gone up from there, but if you want to send, I don't know, someone a fantastic gift for the holidays and you have an extra $300 to spare, I think a cameo from George Santos might just do it, because I mean, he's making that bag. So this is just a compilation of some of his cameos. You can tell I'm 35, but don't look it. No, you do. No, but you do. Wait, I need this again. I need this in full. Period. All I know is that George Santos is definitely not made for the government, but he is made for the internet, and I am ever so grateful. He's cranking them out. There was just a massive influx of George Santos TikToks. So, you know, if you're bored, if you need a giggle, I definitely suggest just a couple, just to put you in a good zone, a good headspace. Because just because you don't make it in Congress doesn't mean you can't make it at all. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, I don't think I even, did I not show you it? Oh no. Okay, wait, hold on. I don't think you guys saw it. Hold on. Okay, so I'll just play this out for you guys to enjoy. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. if you are not subscribe. There's fantastic content on here on Insane Games TV YouTube. You can also check out all the links for the different socials and all this stuff. So I'll leave you on the George Santos cameo. Have a great night, everybody.
Hey, token straight friend. I mean, I was a whole congressman up until last Friday. Could have just stopped by my office.
Let's talk about Botox for a second. You can tell it works. I'm 35, don't look it.
From rise to congressman to fallen diva, as they all say. I know you were trouble when you walked in. That's me. Love that your siblings call you the chaos child, because that's how I'm known in my house. So we have that in common. Period. Keep slaying, Queen.